Before we start tonight's episode of my Game of Thrones recap, there's some things I'd like to touch on. In my diligent ways of keeping spoilers away from myself, I tend to avoid any sort of news outlet that talks about Game of Thrones. In doing so, I missed the fact that this is not the final season. So that makes the first episode's titling a little bit wrong. And by a little bit, I mean completely. From here on out, this is no longer Game of Thrones Final Season Episode 3 or Episode whatever. It is now Game of Thrones Season 7 Episode 3 or whatever. It's also come to my attention that I look less like a Night's Watch member and more like Alan Rickman's portrayal of the Sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I'm not mad in the slightest about that. Anytime I'm compared to Alan Rickman is a good day to me. With that said and done, I think we can move on to the episode at hand. And the best way to start this episode off is by canceling a segment I called My One True King of the Week and starting a new segment in its place called My One True Queen of the Week. And the best queen I can think of to hold the very first crown would be Miss Diana Rigg. So let's give it up for Diana Rigg, shall we? She was many people's favorite character. She had an aura about her. She had wisdom. She had panache. She had moxie. And most importantly, she fucking killed Joffrey. We also caught a glimpse of Bronn, who we haven't seen in a very long time, who is also very high up on my favorite character list. He was seen with Jaime as he marched on Highgarden along with Sam's father and brother. Now, if you remember, while captive of the Sand Snakes, Bronn got a little handsy with one of them and was poisoned, and then was given the antidote by the young one who is now poisoned in the dungeons of King's Landing. They did acknowledge the fact that the poison that Cersei gave to the young Sand Snake could take days, weeks even. That gives Bronn enough time to return from Highgarden with Jaime, and he will free them. That is what I am thinking. Bronn is going to free the Sand Snakes. I know it's a long shot. But I believe that is going to happen. Cersei, still kicking it, still in the lead in this war. In fact, she's up 2-0 now. Sure, Grey Worm and the Unsullied took Casterly Rock, but as we saw Jaime explain to Diana Rigg, he gave it up willingly. It's no use to them right now. Now the Unsullied are trapped in Casterly Rock, surrounded by Euron, who is still very much a badass, even though he pissed me off by pissing Jaime off by talking about fingering Cersei's bum while making sweet love to her. Jorah is apparently cured. Apparently fully cured. Sam successfully chopped all of the eczema off of his body, and he looks great. I mean, from the front he looks great. The back is a mess. Bran came back, and he's finally back to Winterfell, and Sansa sees him. Sansa's excited, but Bran, he does not give a shit. He's basically not her brother anymore. He is the three-eyed raven, and he knows now he needs to learn a lot before the war starts. Why didn't you realize that before you touched that root and got everyone killed, Bran? Fuck Bran. Fuck everyone at Winterfell. I don't care about Sansa. I don't care about Littlefinger. I don't care about Bran. I don't care about Mira Reed. I don't care about that one dude or that other guy. Everyone but Brienne of Tarth, fuck off kindly. Sansa, I'm still on the fence about you. I don't know if you're going to betray Jon. I don't know if you're actually as smart as everyone says you are. You have yet to show that to me. I was so hoping it was Arya coming back and not Bran. But my good friend Miguel pointed out to me that she might not actually be going north anymore. She might have turned around after that meeting with Nymeria. Because when she said, come with me, and then the dog went away, she's like, that's not you. And then Miguel pointed out to me that perhaps she wasn't just saying that to Nymeria. Perhaps she was saying it about herself as well. She's not a domesticated human. She's a faceless woman now. She's an assassin. Why go home? Why go north? Her targets are in the south. And I'm with him. I think she turned around, and I think she's going south again. I think she's going to bump into Ed Sheeran again, and she's going to take his face and kill Cersei with Ed Sheeran's face. I don't think that. I saw that online, and I thought it was hilarious. That's not an original idea, but man, do I wish that happened. In a way. I hope they film that and then release it on the Blu-ray. And then that gets released online, and that's where I see it. Because who buys Blu-rays anymore? What else happened in this episode? What am I forgetting? The most important thing that happened in this episode. Dany and Jon finally met face to face. The tension, the drama. Man, the chemistry was there. They're both, what's her face? The red woman. She said the name of the book's pretty much she brought fire and ice together. But no one believes Jon. But Jon understands why no one believes him, because it's a far-fetched idea. When he was up on those mountains and he said, "Why won't anyone believe me when I told them that there's an army of the dead coming?" And then he thought to himself, he's like, "Oh, I know, because it sounds preposterous." It's my best Jon Snow, by the way. Dany and Jon on screen together, learning about each other. Dany gave him permission to mine the dragon glass, which is good because at first it seemed like she was just keeping them there as a prisoner. But now that she's letting him mine, until that mining's done, he is just there as a contractor. I'm gonna be frank with you. In fact, let me be as honest as I possibly can be. This is me. No sword, no accent, just Evan. Saying for everyone, we want to see Dany and Jon make out passionately. We want to see them take each other into their arms. We want to see a John Woo-esque slow-mo shot swiveling around them, while beautiful birds, fuck birds, while the dragons swoop, while Ghost nuzzles their feet. We want to see them make passionate love and create offspring of both fire and ice that will rule the Seven Kingdoms for all eternity. Bring with them great peace and joy and prosperity. Fuck the Night King. Fuck Cersei. Fuck all the haters. We want fire and ice to rule. I'm sorry I went back into my accent. I know I told you I was going to be real, but sometimes being real means being a little bit fake. Did I forget anything that happened in tonight's episode? If I did, leave a comment below. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. But for now, I do believe I'm done, and I do have an episode of Rick and Morty to watch. It's brand spanking new, and I know you're all watching it right now. Everyone in the fucking world loves Rick and Morty. Did you guys see when that Mulan sauce came back? I'm sure you did, because if your Twitter timeline's anything like mine, everyone retweeted it. I'm sorry I'm getting passionate about the wrong show, which means it's definitely time to go. I'll leave you with two things this week. One, this week's quote, and that is, Joffrey was a real cunt. And two, these beautiful pictures of a young Diana Rigg. We'll miss you.